This is the B train, where the B starts off at 78th Street, Waterside Boulevard with the D, moving down the line until it reaches 57th Street, meeting up with the E and K trains. On 5th Avenue, the B and E go express, while the D and K handle the local. Once it reaches Fairview Avenue, it switches off the express track and onto Booth Street. And when it gets to Herald Square, the B splits off from 5th Avenue and crosses Dominican Crossing into Wespotat to Fordham Avenue, then to Hawley Street, meeting with the J and M trains, and the N, Q, R, and W trains at Calgary Street. And it's just a straight shot of Panthalassic Avenue, that being the last stop. Now the trains the B uses are the R38, R40 mods with dial on the B, R46s, PLT4s, R68s, QP96s, PX1s, R160s, PST3s, PSD4s, and R179s. Quite a handful, huh? The B is a pretty useful line, connecting every B division line in a single route, and with easy access to the J and M, which is pretty rare to see. On top of that, it was the last to use the R40 mods before they retired. The music for the B is Panda Wisp Act 1. It also has some pretty cool history surrounding it, which brings me to a history trip. The B service started off in 1914 as a shuttle for the WPT's 2nd Avenue line, running between Rochelle Street and Panthalassic Avenue. Changes to this came quick when the East End line to Ridgewood Island opened in 1917, making the B a full service. In 1933, B trains were extended north to 76th Street after the opening of the 5th Avenue line and Waterside Boulevard line, and in 1949, rush hour B trains would run express on East End in the peak direction only. When the 76th Street station burned to the ground, B trains were cut back a station to East 72nd Street, but was reverted when the 78th Street station opened. And from 1953 to 1979, the B was emo. From 1984, B train service to Ridgewood Island was restricted to rush hours only, with midday service ending on Panthalassic Avenue. Rush hour B trains were signed with a diamond. This stayed until 2010, when rush hour service for the B was completely discontinued, making every B train stop at Expo Center. Overall, the B is a packed line, filled with its fair share of history, train cars, stations, and the fact it's the only line to go from express to local while still in its trunk line. The B operators aren't bad either. They know how to operate any train car and can haul into a station when the situation calls for it, which you can't complain about. However, before we get to the final rating, unlike the shuttle, we're getting some fun trivia about it, both in lore and in depth, so boogie your shit. The first instance of the B on mass was actually super far away from its 5th Avenue one we know today, running between Worth Street, when it was still in Krypton, and Bryan West. It made very little stops, and ran with the Q as an express counterpart. Sometimes B trains, when extra service is needed on the Cadland, will go via the N train express to Ridgewood Island. This is a very rare occurrence, however. There are even announcements for it. Trains doing this route use the yellow B bullet. And speaking of yellow B, before it was finalized to now, B trains were originally split into two. One running between Waterside and Expo Center, like now, colored orange, and the other from Expo Center to Ridgewood Island, colored yellow. This happened again technically, but moved up to Hawley Street from Ridgewood Island, still sporting a yellow B bullet. This was only for a short service change though. The B train's announcements were done by GrandCentral, known in lore as Grand Campery. He also does the J, L, M, N, Q, and Blockway Shuttle. Take a listen.
This is a Wespotat-bound B train. The next stop is Fairview Avenue.
Pretty neat, huh? And that's all the trivia I'll hand to you. Now, overall, I'll give the B train a 8.5 out of 10. Everything you could know about it is amazing, and the route itself is very fun. This is Abby from Multi-Topic. You guys have a great night, and thank you for watching.